we've done Miami, we've done LSU. Probably should put those in other order, but now it's time to get into maybe the most anticipated game, depending on who you ask, of the Florida Gator season. It's the biggest home game of the season, I think you can say. I mean, FSU and Tennessee are rivalry games, but Texas, if they beat Ohio State, will be the number 1 ranked team in the country coming into the Swamp.
Which, spoiler, I think they will kill Ohio State, to be honest. I'm just not high on Ohio State coming into this year. So
yeah, but they're going to Ohio State. You think they're going to kill them at Ohio State?
Maybe not kill like scoreboard. I think they'll kill in terms of we'll walk away like, man, Texas was definitely the better team.
Okay, that's a fair point. So we take a look here at Texas football schedule. As I just said, they open up playing Ohio State. Then they host San Jose State. Hey, they play back-to-back new games to start the year. Florida cannot relate. Then they host UTEP. Then they host Houston State. Then they get a bye week. If you remember, Texas was supposed to have their bye week after that UTEP game and then play Sam Houston State and then play Florida, but they switched the schedule around so they have that bye week just to prepare for Florida.
I forgot about that.
So I think that's something, hey, that says Texas is keeping an eye on us. Even though they know they beat us, what was it, 51-17 last year?
Yeah. It wasn't that bad, but it was pretty bad.
Yeah, was it not 51-17?
I don't think they scored 51, did they? I'm looking it up now.
Yeah,
49. Oh, it was 49-17. Wow, I thought it was like 42-17 or something. Man, that's tough. That is tough.
Basically, they get a whole month to prepare for Florida because after that Ohio State game, they're just smooth sailing. They can throw in, let's say their backup, Cameron. Is he on? I don't think he's even on here. Yeah. Matthew Caldwell, the guy from Troy who threw for like 1,500 yards and 15-9 touchdown ratio at Troy last year. So that's how talented this Texas team is. And I mean, it is just those. I mean, Sam Houston State's had some pretty good teams over the last few years. I mean, Nick Nash arguably was the best receiver in college football last year. He went for the triple crown at receptions, yards, and touchdowns, I believe. So a lot of talks of he was maybe screwed over the Bolitnikoff, but because Travis Hunter got it over him. But, that's besides the point. Texas gets a whole month to prepare for that Florida game after Ohio State.
They'll be 3-1 worst case scenario. There's no way they'll be any worse than 3-1 going into that game.
But so we talked about it earlier. I think we mentioned it earlier. Could Florida over? I mean, who was it? Was it? It was Jackson right here. Is Florida a trap game for Texas? Do you think they're going to be looking forward to that Red River rivalry game against Oklahoma?
I mean, like in the sense that it's the game that like you care about the most, yes, but like it's really hard for me to like. Is the SEC opener on the road against a potentially like? I mean, if Florida beats LSU and Miami, they'll be a top 10 team going into that game.
If we beat both of them, we'll be a top 5 team.
We'll argue. I mean, maybe. I mean, I'm not saying you're definitely wrong. I'm saying I'll definitely say top 10, maybe top 5. Just depends. But yeah.
Well, I think if you look at some like early preseason top 25, so if Texas beats Ohio State, they will be number 1. And
they might be number 1. They might be number 1 going into that game.
Yeah, I mean, that's also like they have number 1 in this poll. Then Ohio State would have lost that game. If we beat Miami and LSU, I think we'll jump Ohio State. Penn State plays nobody. I think we would jump Penn State. Clemson, if they beat LSU, they'll probably stay ahead of us because that's
I don't think we jump Penn State just by virtue of them having not played anyone. See, this is where I think like the preseason rankings like matter to pollsters. Like I think people expect Penn State's going to be better than us this year, and if they don't lose a game,
if we have those 2 wins, if we have those 2 wins, I would be very shocked if we're not above Penn State.
I mean, we're probably expected to win at least one of those 2, right? Like that's the expectation. Like the non-fan, like just what a normal observer would expect to happen is that Florida probably wins at least one of those games.
I would expect us to be anywhere from 10 to 15 in week 0. 10 to 15.
Wow, you think we're gonna be top 15 going into the season?
I'm very confident we'll be top 15.
Wow. I think we'll probably be top 20. I'm not sure. I'm confident we'll be top 15.
I know we're 11th in, I think it was 11th in a new video game that came out. Obviously, that means nothing,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I mean, I see people have us inside the top 10.
That's kind of insane, honestly. Like that. I mean, it's cool that people are buying in. It's kind of hard for me to believe that Florida as a preseason top 10 team, but
Right here, so the on 3 top 25, which is a consensus, the high, so they have Florida at 13, a high of 10 and a low of 22.
gotcha.
I'm going to say we're like 13th or 14th.
That's
they have
very possible. That's very possible.
So again, if you're able to beat Miami and LSU, both of those teams are above us in this poll. You'll be jumping them, and I have a hard time them not pushing us up a lot more because other teams just wouldn't have the wins.
Well, here's the only counterpoint I would say to that. We're kind of getting into the weeds here, but like I would just say real quick, like Miami and LSU could both have already lost before we played.
That is a very true point.
So those might not be like super highly rated wins.
Actually,
for us,
I have those both predicted to be losses. That's actually okay. That's a good point.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, I think they'll both have a loss going into the games against us. So,
yeah, I mean, we both think that, and I have us beating them both. So yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But you're looking at if you go 2-0, if you have 1-1, you still might be a top 12 team, maybe top 10 team. But Texas, if they win, they're probably gonna be number 1. So big game in the swamp is the point there. Was Alabama in 2021 the number 1 team? I don't. I know they blew out Miami week 1 that year.
I kind of think they were. But I'm not 100% on that. If
they were,
like,
wait,
they were,
that's the end of the year. Yep, they were number 1.
Okay, I was say I thought they were. Just the amount of attention and energy that game got, I felt like I remembered it being a game against number 1, but I wasn't positive.
Yeah, so your first game against the number 1 team since 2021. That's not actually as long as I would have thought it, but like, hey, it's going to be a big game in the swamp. Arch Manning versus DJ Lagway. That's going to be the whole selling point of it.
This could very easily be game day. I mean, this could very easily be game day.
It probably will be game day.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't looked at the rest of the schedule, but I mean, like you said, very possibly a top 5 game between top 5 teams. Almost certainly would be a game between top 10 teams under pretty much any circumstance, unless Florida loses to LSU and Miami. Like I don't know. Yeah, I guess it could be top 50. You know what I'm saying? This is like almost certainly going to be a game between 2 teams ranked like very highly.
Yeah. This is very likely going to be game day. Like, I mean, it's going to be a major, unless you go to Vanderbilt, Alabama in the rematch.
Which I don't think Vandy's going to be like that good. Like, I think if Bama loses to Vandy again, like if that's even a game, I think DeBoer is in serious trouble.
Yeah. All right. So let's get here into the official. Let's look at Texas' actual depth chart and roster.
Yeah.
We all know Arch Manning is going to be the QB. I think we're both a bit lower on him than most people are. I mean, he's the number 1 in Heisman odds, isn't he?
I think it's Cade, isn't it? Or no, is it? I think it's Cade or Nussmeier.
College.
I think it's Cade 1 and then Nussmeier 2, but I might be wrong.
Actually, wow. So they've changed a little bit. So depending on what you use, some have Arch 1, some have Nuss 1, some have Klubnik 1.
Okay. So yeah, I mean he's a top 3 preseason Heisman candidate.
No, it's all Arch. Bet365, DraftKings, ESPN. What is this? I don't even MGM, I think. So yeah, there's actually all Arch.
Interesting. Wow, I think that's changed then. Yeah, that has changed. I'm pretty sure he was not that high like a couple months ago when the first odds kind of came out. Oh, that's crazy. That's honestly crazy that the preseason Heisman contender hasn't had a meaningful start, or the preseason Heisman favorite hasn't had a meaningful start in college.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see, because I think it's also worth noting he didn't really do anything against any good teams. And he got sacked. I think he took like a couple snaps against Georgia, and he got sacked on one of them, or tackled for loss. Can't remember if it was a sack or a TFL, but, you know, you can blame other players. But again, it's like when he played against great teams, it's not like he was going out there and showing it. Like against ULM and against Mississippi State, he looked the part. But I mean, we don't need to get into this too much. We'll see what Arch is, but around him, we know how good this Texas team can be.
Yeah.
Look at their running back room. Trey Weisner went for over 1,000 yards last year, if I'm not mistaken. They returned CJ Baxter, who was expected to be the starter, who had a really good freshman season. Jarrett Gibson was a
500-yard rusher last year, I think.
Yeah, was a former near 5-star recruit. So it's like they have a 3-headed back or 300 monster in the running back room that competes with all the best of them. That competes with ours. It competes with Texas A&M, Penn State, Notre Dame. It's one of the best in the country.
377 from Gibson, by the way, for a 400-yard rusher. My bad. But yeah, I mean that's your top three are. I mean this is an incredible running back room. It really is.
We got it here first. Arch played against our second team and looked like cheeks. That's how I'm making this pick now. But you then go to the receiving room. A lot like Florida's in a way. I mean,
I think it's kind of underwhelming. I think it's a little underwhelming.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's bad, but I think it's a little bit less than what you would expect for a team that's, acquiring talent at the level that Texas is.
Well, I want to check something real quick because what was this guy ranked? Wasn't he a 5-star? Yeah. So, I mean, there's 4 5-star receiver on this roster. DeAndre Moore is a junior, I think a top 10 recruit, if I'm not mistaken. Ryan Wingo is a 5-star. Then they brought in 2 5-star freshmen.
Yeah.
Was Michael Terry also a 5-star?
I don't know.
I
know Lockett and French were.
Michael Terry was 58, so top 60.
Okay, still a top one. So they had 3 top 58 receivers. That's insane.
No, more. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
In the class?
Oh, in last class, yes.
Yeah, sorry, I just meant in the incoming freshman class.
And they brought in a transfer, Emmett Mosley from Stanford. He went for 48, 525, 6 touchdowns. Yeah. Which, at Stanford, the QB situation there with who was their QB? I know who it was. And he also is playing alongside Elick Ayoman.
He's at Auburn now. I'm totally blanking on his name, but he's at Auburn. What is his name?
I got it right here. Ashton Daniels.
Ashton Daniels, thank you.
So, playing alongside Elick Ayoman, who had a ton of yards and was really the bell cow as a receiver for that Stanford offense. So, pretty good production-wise for him. But DeAndre Moore, Ryan Wingo are the 2 guys that they're looking to step up and be elite wide receivers. They were at that out of high school. Ryan Wingo is the name that everyone talks about. That's the name I keep hearing over and over again as, hey, he has potential to be the best receiver in college football. Last year, he went for 472 yards, which actually is pretty good. I mean, who was he playing behind last year? First round pick,
Golden.
Bond and Golden. So it's 472 is actually pretty good.
I guess not really Jonte Cook. He didn't really play that much.
Oh, no, Jonte Cook, no. Yeah. But, so it's 472 behind those guys is pretty good, and they're expecting him to break out this year. So I think I'm a lot higher on this room than you are, but it's still a bit of prove it mode.
Well, that's kind of my point is there's not really a single proven player here. It's all guys Wingo had a great true freshman year. Don't get me wrong. He probably will be the one of the better receivers in the SEC this year if he continues to develop. But DeAndre Moore, upperclassman who's never really been a major contributor. The transfer Mosley, kind of underwhelming as your premier receiver transfer addition at a school like Texas. I don't think it matters, truth be told. I don't really think it matters that I'm not super as high on Arch as everyone else is, because at the end of the day, I'm high on the collective. I'm very high on Steve Sarkisian as an offensive mind. So I don't think it matters. I think this is going to be a really good Texas offense that will be able to block and will be able to run the ball and be good enough through the air. I mean, everyone was down on Quinn Ewers last year, and Quinn Ewers still had a very productive season. So, like, I think this, like, you can kind of give them the benefit of the doubt and say this is going to be good. I just think from a personnel perspective, outside of the running back room, when I look at this offense, like the skill positions at least, I'm a little like, I don't know. I guess I would have thought it'd maybe be a little bit better for a team that's like possibly preseason number one.
I think they bring a transfer tight end, Jack Andrews from Cal, went for 623 yards on 56.
Yeah, that's a good pickup. That's a really good pickup.
It's a good pickup at tight end. I think there's a lot of similarities between Texas and Florida this past year, where especially on their offensive line, they lose Kelvin Banks. I know they lost a guard. They lost both their tackles, if I'm not mistaken, actually. So
I think so.
So they lose both their tackles. They lost one of their guards. I'm pretty sure they also lost their center. But they don't.
They have a senior at center. I don't know if he was the starter though.
I think it's a new guy. I'm pretty sure it is.
Okay.
But so outside of DJ Campbell, maybe the center is returning, but outside of DJ Campbell, it's basically entirely new offensive line, and it's not transfers, which is something that Florida is doing. Florida did with their roster last year. I mean, again, 2 transfers on offense that are projected to start, but I don't think they're guaranteed to start. I mean, I don't think Emmett Mosley is locked into that role, especially when you have 2 5-star freshman wide receivers right behind him.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
yeah,
I mean, that's
no, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, comparing it to Florida, like J. Michael Servant will start. I'm really high on him and everything, but let's say Aiden Mizell and then like Dallas Wilson is ready. It's like, would you be surprised if that were a possibility at the very least?
Yeah, I think that's a good comp. Because I mean, I think like Florida's receiving core, like this could be a really good receiving core if French or Lockett are able to be like immediate impact guys. I just think that's a lot to put on. Not every 5-star freshman, even really good ones, are going to be Ryan Williams or Jeremiah Smith. Like that just isn't how it always works. I feel the same way about Dallas Wilson. Like that's why I said earlier, there was like my initial instinct was like, will Dallas Wilson be at SEC Media Days for Florida next year? Because I think there's a reality where he is the best receiver on this team this year, but I just think that's a lot to put on a young guy.
Yeah, absolutely is a lot to put on. But like, I know Brandon Baker, I talked about earlier, is a 5-star offensive lineman replacing Kelvin Banks. Now, Kelvin Banks is a 3-year starter. All-American is a second year at Texas. So it's like, are we asking him something interesting? Actually, I just noticed our lads has him listed at 6'4". So I think that's really interesting that he's going to be starting at left tackle. Oh, no, right tackle. Trevor Gooseby starting 6'7". Okay. What was his ranking out of high school? I mean, I'm sure it was at least a 4-star. Oh, no. Okay, I mean, he was ranked in the 400 as a 4-star, so actually pretty low compared for what I thought. But, I mean, Texas is relying on their development, which, I mean, hey, they've produced and won at a high level the past 2 years now, so Nito Umeozulu, I know, is a pretty high 4-star, mid-tier 4-star guy. So it's like they're relying on their own development, and they have some high-rated guys, they have some low-rated guys, and I think the offensive line is going to be good, but maybe it's not. I mean, week 6, you probably should be ready. Like if we were playing in week 1 like Ohio State is, then you can ask the question like, hey, this is an offensive line that week 1 may be talented, but hasn't put things together. But then, like halfway through the season, they're one of the best groups in the country. But by week 6, they're probably there. Although, in the swamp, our defensive line, also has some really elite players on it. That's something that maybe you could keep intact, because if Texas is just sleeping that whole entire month after the Ohio State game, and it's just something where they're brutally woken up because Florida's going to play LSU, then play Miami, then play Texas. There's no sleep for Florida, which also could be a bad thing, but it could also be a good thing for us if Texas is, not doing anything for that entire month, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they don't have like a transfer here, so there's not that element of like, will they gel together? They're all guys that have been here, and at least I think most of them have played to some degree. Like, I don't think any of them are coming in like having not seen any like significant time at all. But
yeah,
I mean, I think I will say Florida has kind of an interesting, I guess, potential like canary in the coal mine with that Miami game, because I think that's a really good Miami offensive line too. I think we'll kind of get a picture for where this defensive line's at in that game. I'm not sure which unit I think. I mean, frankly, Miami's offensive line might be better than Texas's. So if you can get
that's very
pressure,
possible.
yeah. So I mean, if you can get pressure on Beck in that game, you got to feel like you're at least not going to get outclassed in the trenches in that Texas game. So I mean, but I think that is. I mean, I think as we get into the defense too, I mean that is this game. It is the trenches. This is the ultimate test of Billy Napier's program building. Is, can you beat Texas? Can you beat a team like this in year 4 with dogs in the trenches like this?
Yep. All right, but now let's move to their defense. So I know I mentioned they're mostly relying on their own development and their own guys, but the one spot they did attack in the portal was the interior defensive line. Maybe some Gator fans are jealous here, but they go and get Travis Shaw from North Carolina, who was a former 5-star guy, but hasn't produced too much. I mean, defensive tackles maybe don't put up the same numbers as a linebacker or edge rushers or something like that, but no sacks in his career is really interesting. And what is that, 26, 37 total tackles. So I don't know what happened at North Carolina, but statistically, it's not some crazy kid, but a former 5-star guy who's a senior now. So a lot of football, high talent. We'll see. I mean, they also bring in Justice Terry, who was a top 3 player in the recruiting class. They got him over to Georgia, and Myron Charles, who was like a top 120 recruit as well, and another sophomore from Duncanville, Alex January. What is this guy's ranking? I don't even know. Let me pull this up real quick. Okay, so it was a 3-star, so nothing crazy, but a second-year guy on the roster, someone they probably expect to develop a little bit by now, but maybe a lot of new, and especially in the nose tackle room. Cole Brevard, Murad Watson, Lavon Johnson, and Hiro Kanu are all transfers. Now, maybe the Gators are jealous and wish we went and got one of those guys. I mean, Hiro Kanu was someone we did target, but
yeah,
I don't know how good any of these guys truly are.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's an element of just like, I'm going to give Texas's staff the benefit of the doubt here. I mean, we're coming off. This is now, I think it's like 2 years in a row they've had to replace both their interior guys, right? Didn't they lose both their tackles after 2023 as well?
That sounds right.
Yeah, both of those guys were decently highly drafted, if I remember correctly. And that happened again this past year. So, I mean, they develop them. I mean, we'll see. They went and got a lot. Like you said, they added a lot of transfers here. I mean, you got to imagine they can get decent play from a couple of them. I mean, I would say it's probably like the interior of that defensive line and the Florida. Yeah, it's the weakness of the defense, I would say right now.
Well, I mean, honestly, this Texas defense, I mean, we'll get later on, but that interior defensive line and the secondary, I think the defense is a lot more unproven than I might have realized.
I love this linebacker core, though, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think Colin Simmons is the best edge rusher in college football. I think he's better than Dylan Stewart.
He might be.
And I think Anthony Hill is the best linebacker in college football. Like, I think they might be the two best. I mean, they might be
best pass rusher and best
players.
off-ball linebacker. Yeah, maybe. Very well possible. Yeah, this front seven, I mean, if the interior is okay, I mean, because Ethan Burke, the guy you got rushing off the other edge, like, didn't really do that much last year. He's an upperclassman. We'll see. Again, it's kind of just an area where, like, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt because they've just been so good there. But it is a question. I mean, they're outside of Colin Simmons, like, this front four is pretty much all question marks.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I mean, is this something Florida could take advantage of? I mean, I know Colin Simmons is a great pass rusher. I haven't looked into him as a run stuffer. Could Florida run on this front seven for Texas?
I mean, look, yeah, I think if the offensive line is as good as we expect it to be, which, an offensive line is kind of only as good as its weakest link. So we'll see how, like, guys like Damian George, Najee Harris, and
Bryce Levette.
Bryce Levette. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Bryce Levette. We'll see how they like those kind of guys. Because I think we know Austin Barber and Slaughter are going to be good. We'll see how good those guys are. But I mean, yeah, I think if this offensive line is as good as you and I expect it to be, I think this is an opportunity. I mean, obviously the linebacking core is going to make it tough, but like I think Florida's offensive line can win up front. I mean, and hopefully Lagway still, hasn't gotten banged up and has the mobility at that point to run away from Colin Simmons if he has to.
Yep, absolutely. But I mean, we mentioned Anthony Hill's maybe the best linebacker. I've seen people put Weeks as a top 5 player in the country, and Weeks probably had his worst career game against Florida last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a spot for that. And now we can move Trey Moore, also another edge rusher. How many sacks did he have last year? 5.5, had 10, I think. 14 the season prior at UTSA. So very experienced guy who also has experience in the SEC. But now we get to another spot here in this secondary where it's a bit of a mixed bag here. Now, Michael Taft, people say, is maybe the best safety in college football, or maybe the best safety, or no, outside of Caleb Downs, maybe the best safety in college football.
Yeah.
Someone I have a lot of expectations for. Malik Muhammad had a really good year last year, a former top 50 or so recruit. And now they're expected to start Kobe Black, who is also a 5-star. But then, so it's like, Taft and Muhammad, you're expected to be good players again this year. But then Kobe Black, did he even play? He had 10 tackles last year and 1 pass deflection. It's hard to grade corners off of tackles and stuff like that. So we'll see how he is. And Jelani McDonald, their other safety, had 33 tackles last year and an interception. I mean, we'll see how good he is. But and Jalen Gilbo, again, a starter for them last year. So I'll say, outside of Taft, and someone can step up, do they have elite DB play? Now, again, it's 5 stars, but I think Muhammad is good to great, and maybe he can take another step this year. But I don't know if I would put him in that top tier corners yet. And Kobe Black, again, we have to see him do it. But I mean, I don't know if this is something that's unbeatable.
No, I think it's a major weakness. I think the interior defensive line and the secondary are the 2 biggest weaknesses on the entire team. You're talking about a defensive back group that lost 2 of its 3 best players from last year, and Andrew Makuba and Jade Barron. Both of them had 5 picks. You replaced you lost 10 interceptions from your secondary last year. That's you can't understate that. That's a major loss. So I mean, maybe you get a guy like Jonah Williams, a 5-star safety they signed, who's also playing baseball for them, I'm pretty sure. But maybe he comes in and can make an impact in the secondary for them. But yeah, I mean, I think there's talent here, recruiting talent, but not a lot of proven. I think really, outside of Colin Simmons and Trey Moore and Anthony Hill, this is and Taft, sorry, this is a largely unproven defense, really across the board. And again, you give it the benefit of the doubt for the most part because they've had good defenses there under Sark. The development's been good, the recruiting's been good, but they lose a lot, for a team that people really don't assume to miss a beat. If anything, people probably expect to be better this year than they were last year. It's a big question.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are a lot of questions there, and maybe it's something I've been overrating a bit. At home, this is definitely a game the Gators could win. And I think if the Gators do find a way to win this game, it's probably by running the ball. Oh, I mean, running the ball, but again, if we're throwing it a lot, can Lagway avoid the pass rush? Because that pass rush off the edge is going to be ferocious.
I mean, Bryce Levette better come ready to strap him up.
So who's going to be? So is it going to be, I guess, Ethan Burke or Trey Moore going against Levette?
Does Moore's listed weak side on our last? Does he mostly come off because Burke's
5.5 sacks? And that's what I was wondering, because I know he was a pass rusher at UTSA and he had 5.5 sacks last year. So it's not like he was, I mean, that's about an expectation you would get from the American to the SEC.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly how that works, but like,
Yeah, I don't either, but I think you got to assume they're going to send someone against Bryce Levette and make him earn it on that day. So I think that's the question for the passing game. But I think Florida's got the offensive line to be able to run on most teams. I mean, I think most teams they're going to play this year, Florida should be able to run the ball on.
yeah, wow, I'm now having a lot of questions here about some of my picks now, but like getting into that, we both picked us to lose this game when we made our last predictions.
I definitely did. I can't remember.
Yeah, I know I did too.
Okay.
And I'm gonna stick with us losing this game.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm more open to us potentially winning this game now. Because
yeah, I am too.
It's very unproven, and I'm not questioning Ohio State is just as unproven.
Yeah.
I mean, the Texas and Ohio State comparison, I honestly think they're very similar in the fact that they have like maybe the best players in college football. I mean, Jeremiah Smith, I think, is the best player, and I think Colin Simmons and Anthony Hill are two of the top 5 best players in college football. So it's like they have those top players, but then like outside of those guys, unproven.
Mm-hmm.
I think I saw it that Ohio State, when On3 released their top 75 or top 50 players, Ohio State had like 3 players inside like the top 15, but no one else. And Texas was also like pretty similar to that as well, but like I think they had like 5 players. So, you know, not as many as you expect, but like they're all inside like that top 15, top 10 area. For their like, hey, would you rather have those top 10 guys or a bunch of guys ranked between 50 and 30?
Mm-hmm.
That's the question.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, I agree with everything you're saying. I definitely, this feels more attainable than it did before we kind of took a look at it. You know, the thing that kind of still gets me, and the reason I'm still ultimately going to stick with a loss here, is just that the level of talent here. Florida has not won a game under Billy Napier with a talent, like a blue chip ratio discrepancy, like they're going to have, like there's going to be in this game. I don't think it's impossible. I don't think it's unrealistic even, but it is something that they're going to have to prove that they can do that they haven't proven they can do yet. So until they do, like, I really like this coaching staff. I think Sark is really good. I think their offensive design is really good. I think their defensive development is good. So like, even though we have questions about these guys, it doesn't mean I think this is going to end up being a bad unit. Like all those things, like frankly, I just trust Texas more, but I didn't think we'd be having a conversation about trust. I thought we'd be having a conversation about Texas being a significantly more talented team, which it is in theory, but not necessarily in terms of like what has actually been borne out on a football field.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a necessarily kind of opposite reaction to when we do Texas A&M next week. Well, I had us losing. I picked us losing that Texas A&M game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, kind of based on the situation and other things happening. But I have a feeling we're going to look at that Texas A&M roster and maybe see some matchups that don't favor Florida as much. And, you know, here we're thinking Florida's chances to win are a little bit higher than we did before we did this. But I think next week when we do Texas A&M, we might think that Florida's chances to win are a bit lower. Because I believe you picked us to beat A&M, and I had us losing to A&M.
I do. I have A&M as a win.
No, I don't want to change your opinion on us losing to A&M because or have us beating A&M, I have us losing. I don't want to change your opinion because still want us to be 9-3 on your record to make the playoff. But I think it's going to be a very interesting breakdown when we get to A&M. But to wrap this up against Texas, it's going to be a fun game in the Swamp. Hopefully they're the number 1 team, so we have that chance to beat that number 1 ranked team in the country. A lot of unproven talent, but again, that talent is there. I mean, again, we're looking at that defensive line group. I don't think there's any. If Justice Terry ends up being elite as a freshman, I don't think anyone would bat an eye. Like a top 5 recruit, it happens all the time where those guys end up being really good as a freshman, not just really good freshmen, but really good as a freshman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I mean, I totally. You know, I think, and just to kind of give my final thoughts on this game, and obviously we'll have more as we get into it in the season. But yeah, I mean, I think this is a huge litmus test game for Billy Napier. I think it's the kind of game where if you win, we're talking about this program's in Florida's program in a completely different light. I mean, at that point, if you can prove you can win this game, there's not a game on this schedule that's unattainable. If you can beat Texas, you can beat Georgia. I firmly believe that.
Yep.
I have my questions about Georgia. I have my questions about LSU. Like, I don't think any of these teams are untouchable. I think Texas is the most talented of them. So, like, if you're in a position to win this game, it's going to be a really good season, I think. So I don't think there's a lot to lose here, and I think there is a lot to gain for the Gators in this game.
Yep. To wrap this up here, I know I'm predicting us to lose this game, and I have us beating LSU and Miami. But when we get there, I said it a couple weeks ago, if we beat Miami and LSU, I am 100% picking us to win this game when we do our official picks the Sunday before the game.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I might too. I might at that point too if we're undefeated going into it.
I think we'd have to for the, as fans and stuff like that. But